We're dropping knowledge on Grambo Bros, talking about plants and how they go. Let's go. From seeds to the cure, we always smoke pure. Nothing but good vibes up in here. We blaze the ganja, keep it fire. Grambo Bros, burning desire. Learn about cultivation, step by step. You can rock out the negativity. Cannabis vibes up in here. Grambo Bros, rhymes up in here. Grambo Bros, where am I bringing life?
Nothing but good vibes up in here. Grambo grows. Welcome to the late night smoke, guys. I am. This is my favorite part of every. Well, not my suit. I hang out with my kiddo, so I can't always say this is my favorite part of. This is my favorite part of Sunday night, guys. This is. If you like cannabis, if you like smoking, if you like growing, you are in the right place. This is the spot for all things cannabis. I want to steal Gabe's line. Cannabis and lifestyle related. That's Gabe's line. Welcome everybody here. If guys, this is it's one of those things. 2025 is the year of cannabis. It's the year we're coming out of the closet and going into the tent. We're building the grow rooms. We're building out our tents. It's one of those things that I'm very, very excited about. We're always on the front lines of the cannabis world, and I'm telling you, YouTube is loosening up just a teeny bit. So if you like cannabis culture, you like growing culture, make sure you hit that subscribe button to stick around. We got lots of cool guests, cool stuff, and great knowledge coming up in 2025 and beyond. I'm very, very stoked. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, GramFam. Welcome, GramBoard members. First of all, I have to just right out the gate, I have to shout out the OG supporters of the Grambo Grow Show. LJ Jones, he's the goddamn Alex Ovechkin of the Gramboard. This person gives out more subs than anyone, and you know who's a close second? The Sidney Crosby of the Gramboard. Cody Whittaker. Come on. So we got LJ Jones gifting 5. We got Cody Whittaker gifting 5. And LJ Jones can't be outdone. So right after that, LJ Jones gifted another 5. So 15 new Gramborg members. All you guys, welcome to the Gramborg. Why is it called the Gramborg? Because I bought Grambo.org. And I don't know what to do with it. So we're the Gramborg. Boorg. Welcome back. Cannabis Vibe. If you like my theme song, go check out Cannabis Vibe Studios. He's THC for everything on Instagram. You need to change that. You got to change that vibe. We need to get Cannabis Vibe on Instagram. People sometimes reach out and they go, "Where can I find Cannabis Vibe?" And I go, "Over at THC for everything." And then they probably never find you, buddy. So this is a awesome day. We got wind blowing out there. The fires are burning out in the world. I see it's a little smoky on the horizon. Created a beautiful sunset. It's been a great week. I've had follows this channel knows I have ups and downs, lefts and rights, but you guys are the reason that I keep this going. And all the guests that I have, every single person that you see on this show is a personal friend of mine. I rarely have people on that I don't fully know. And it's always an awesome content creator, an awesome grower, someone that I know fairly personally. And tonight is no different. If you guys don't know, we always talk about how like there's the shadow banning on social media. It's one of like the hardest things to deal with. Every single one of my friends has gotten kicked off of Instagram. Some of them twice, some of them 3 times, some of them like 5 times. Shout out to Canalisa. Shout out to Tanazi. Those people get banned more than anybody I ever know. It bums me out. And some people always say, I wonder if I wish there was like some sort of social media where we could go that we wouldn't be banned. And as you guys know, I am wholeheartedly DGC from the Dude Grow Show up and down. I'm after JR Token, after J Maestro, after Dr. J. I believe I'm DGC number 4. I got in on 2014 back in the day. And one of the hardest undertakings that you could take in this sort of game is creating a social media platform. And guys, the Dude Grow Show, they did it. They put together one of the rare actual functioning good communities out there. No BS. RealDGC.com. It's definitely the spot you want to be. It's one of these things that every single time they're $52.95, we passed $52.80. It's the Mile High website, you guys. You can join, you can become a producer. It's one of those things we don't talk about it all that much because it's one of those things that we like it to be organic, but we'll bring it up from time to time on this show, on Scotty's show, on the Dude Grow show, and yeah, it's very, very important. So meet me over there. Come hang out. It's one of those things, just like Green Med said, the DGC fam. It really is an extended family. It's all over the world. I'm here in Colorado or in Denver. Scotty's up in Fort Collins. Dude over in BC. JR in Oregon. JR Maestro down in Florida. One-Eyed Cat Cannabis up in Maine. We're all across the country delivering this cannabis knowledge. And so come find us over there. I'm Grambo over on Real DGC. I actually check my messages and you guys can come hang out over there. So it was pretty awesome. We went to Missouri this last 2 weekends ago, 3 weeks. Yeah, I have no concept of time. And we got to hang out. We had no Wi-Fi, so we were having a couple drinks, smoking a lot of weed, and we're watching old-timey shows, Hogan's Heroes. Is anyone old enough to remember that? I shouldn't be, but I am. And we're having some drinks, and I told the dude, I was like, "Hey man, you got to come on. I've had Scotty on 2 or 3 times," and he's like, "For sure, I'll come on." And then if you guys saw Pigeons 420 show, the dude did Pigeon show, and that's he didn't really talk too much grow. So I was on there, and it was an amazing show. But I was definitely like, man, since he's all loosened up and ready to do some other people's show, I was like, let me hit up the dude this week. And I was super, super stoked. I shot him over a text and he's like, I'll be there. And then I wasn't feeling all so hot today. And I was like, man, I'm going through it, as you always know. Anybody that watches this show regularly knows I'm always going through it. I get a little butt hurt from time to time. And then after I'm tired doing hanging out with my kid, running around, running all over her, flipping her around, I'm always exhausted. And I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to do it tonight, just like every week. You guys know what it is. All you GramBorg members that hang out with the post show know my struggles with it. But the dude messaged me. He's like, "Grambo, we got to do it. I'm in." He's full of pizza, full of weed. So from British Columbia, Canada, welcome in the dude.
Full of pizza, full of weed. I love it. I warned Grambo. I'm like, hey, we're coming in. For me, 7 o'clock on a Sunday. Who knows what state I might be in? But I've had a good mountain bike ride, a couple bites. I have a guilty treat. Like they have this Domino's ultra thin crust, which is against my mantra. But no, we're doing all right. Am I part of I didn't know about the GramFam. So the GramFam and the DGC, it's kind of all the same fam. Am I part of the GramFam?
It's like I always wanted to call anyone that was a fan of me the Bakers. Like this goes back like 15 years. I was like, if I ever have fans, I'm gonna call them the Bakers. And then now Scotty's got the bakery, that's all done out. So there's got to be. I want to meet. There's like a Thai person out there named GramFam. I want to meet that person. So if anyone knows who they are, send them my way. So yeah, that's my nickname for anyone who's a fan of me. But there's endless crossover. I guarantee there's not one person who's a fan of this show that isn't a fan of Dude Grows. Dude Grows is the mothership, dude. You guys were crossing in. You're crossing in. See, one of the things I know, I'm all hopped up on Alpha Brain and Dabs right now. And so
Alpha side of G Fuel or no G Fuel side.
A little bit of G Fuel earlier. Yeah. I'm gonna hit up G Fuel. I'm gonna get Grambo fuel going. This is my big my big move.
I'm hopped up on hanging out. I told you before we talked a minute before we hopped on the show here. I said I might be running a minute late, but just being able to hang out, it's just like whatever doing Pigeon show and typically on Dude Grow show. I'm kind of like it's always a good time. Conversation changes the day. It brings us good vibes. But I'm also, I'm kind of looking at a format. I do have some business to tend to. So hopping on another show is just like easy peasy. It's just I have my monitor in front of me is just your big face, Grambo, or hanging out. Let's talk grow. I think you want to talk a little bit of grow room building type biz. So I love
I'm trying to find your on Real DGC. The reason that I led with RealDGC.com is that I was over trying to find your grow over there. You posted a bunch of stuff on your grow, so make sure you guys, if you want to see the dude's grow, if you want to see Scotty's grow, you want to see my upcoming grow with Church of Cannabis Nate.
I have failed. So if you go on my timeline on Real DGC, I promised this last grow that I was going to completely document the whole grow. But then, and there's so many times like the grow sometimes turns into this just cherished relaxation place where it's like I've already looked at screens enough today. I just want to sit in here on my rolly stool and just zone out. And I've
Yeah.
literally almost always failed trying to do a full like documented grow. And right now it's shut down. And I'm in my head about summertime's coming up. Do I want to fire that grow up again? The AC will run harder, the dehumidifier will run harder. And I think the solution is for my grow where I run 6 lights, 350 HLG Diablos. I'm like, you don't need to commit to all that. Think about when you go into summertime, you can turn off. I'm thinking I should run that grow and only run 3 of those lights, like run half of them, and then put like a lawn chair in there. So like I have a hangout zone, and I cut my heat in half, and I can still go in there and chill out because I have shout out to J-Pen. I believe, yeah, J-Pen that hooked me up with a Harlequin seed. There's one seed in this little bag. I'm like, that's a lot of
Yeah.
pressure, bro. One seed. But
One
my
seed.
wife's really loving the
Yeah.
1-to-1 strain. So she's like, you should grow some more of that out. And it does well with the neighbors too. And I'm getting off on a little tangent, but people around a party or that they don't want to get really high, but they want to have a couple tokes. I'm like, I got you. I got a 1-to-1. We can simmer down. We can hang out. So
I
I have
found a
that.
pic that this represents you full Zen mode, I believe, chilling in your garden. I can't, I'm surprised you even pulled out the
Yes.
picture for this one.
Exactly. That was exactly. That's my line. That grow room, since we're talking grow room, 5 feet wide by 12 feet long. That I found the perfect amount of plants and pot size on this last grow, which was 12 5 gallons. They're all on now. Yeah, that's perfect. Thanks, Grambo, because you can see they're pushed aside. They're all on rolly dollies, not plastic ones, metal ones, and yes, they cost a pretty penny, almost like $30 each. But it works so good to go in there and just push stuff aside. I can go down the center aisle and work and water and tend to each plant and hang out. And of course, I encourage anybody that if you have this type of grow setup, get the rolly dolly, look at mechanics stools, and there's a tray under it that will hold my scissors. It will hold, whatever I need. And it's a great way to work. The main reason why I haven't, which I'd like to geek out and do irrigation, is because I love to just move all my plants. Like I said, my joke is like I'm parting the sea when I go in, and I can work and hang out.
No, that's a huge tip. It's one of those things that I posted my grow on Instagram one time, and someone saw my Rolly mechanic stool, and they're like, "Holy crap, that's such an amazing idea!" And they sent me a picture that same day of them going to Home Depot and buying one. And you take it so for granted, like mechanic stool, of course. That's like save your knees, save your back. You roll around, you take it for granted. You forget that not everybody has that grower. Oh yeah, I never thought about that. And one of the things I didn't think about was putting plants on those little roller, like I don't even what would you call the are they're the roller caster
Plant
table
dollies.
things like
You can
yeah,
Amazon plant dollies, and like I said, it's like
okay.
everything else in life. I'm a solid state kind of guy. You could spend a quarter of the amount and buy the cheap plastic shit, or you could
Mm.
spend a pretty penny, and these will last me. Like I could, you did the kickflip video. Like you can stand, like
Yeah.
you can almost stand on these
Yes.
babies and do a trick.
Yes, and it's a 2 for 1 because you get them up off the floor. Newer growers will always undervalue how much heat is getting sucked out of your root zone by your concrete floor just setting them. So you got to put some sort of buffer in between the floor
Yeah.
and the plants. And so by putting them on those plant dollies, I'm loving the plant dolly, and it's actually like meant for plants. Huh? It's not just like some like thing that's repurposed.
Nope. Meant for plants. Solid plant dollies, baby. Real
Hell yeah.
rubber wheels on them.
So it's one of those things that you threw out. They call it skill stacking in the business world. So like always, it's like you pick up things. I laid carpet with a couple like crazy meth heads back in Des Moines like 25 years ago, and there'd be water damage, and they get the airflow going in there, and it'd create like a little vortex, and it pulls all the moisture into the middle. And you kind of have exactly like what I built up in my stuff. You got the fans kind of pointed inwards. You get a little bit of that lower fan down there. It all pools in the middle. Where do you put your dehumidifier in this situation? Is it tucked in the corner?
Like I said, you can see 2 wall fans on the end. And then there's another 2 wall fans you can't see in the equation. Those are the AC Infinity oscillating wall fans. And then I always run a floor fan down the center that you can see at the end. So my dehumidifier in this picture is mounted up high to my left, and it's a commercial dehumidifier. And the reason it's mounted up high is because floor space is valuable. So I mounted that specifically up high, and then I also have a 5th wall fan that's pushing air towards the dehumidifier as well. I also would mount my AC if I could. I would mount it up out of the way. I haven't gotten there yet. I love all the floor space I can have in a grow room because that's my working space.
Well, speaking of AC Infinity, it's one of those things that like it's so hard to not sound like a hua for them. But I believe so much in AC Infinity. It's a good time just to share the coupon code. Dude Grows. It gives us credit, so we know that you guys went over there, and it saves you money, 10% off over on the website. So if you guys are planning on buying anything from AC Infinity, coupon code Dude Grows. It's win-win, baby. It's win.
If you really look around their site, I doubt you won't find something that you want. Like there's everything down to pruners to scroggers to all types of controllers, of course, the more expensive gear, but they also have a lot of gear that's just, they have bowl trimmers, all kinds of stuff. So yeah, shout out to AC Infinity for sure.
Yeah, it's a good people over there. Sydney, we got to hang out in LA. We went over to the LA event, met her at the Comedy Store, and it's so cool to meet the people behind these stuff. When you meet Scott with Real Grower, it's like, there's a goddamn stoner running this company. You meet the AC Infinity crew. Same. When I got my tent, I was amazed. It came with not a how to grow tomatoes or how to grow your favorite plants. It came with a how to grow cannabis manual.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's legit.
Yeah, totally. And I can, I'm sure you're going to fire off questions, or I can continue to speak on grow room design.
Yes.
I mean, if you're building, it's a good time. Yeah, not to just keep hitting that drum. AC Infinity has complete kits. We've done plenty of shows where almost anybody should have room in their house down to a 2x2 tent to grow some dank. I built my grow room and my other grow room in Colorado before I moved here. Both have been in the garage. So if you're building a grow room, you do need to take into consideration, insulation. Is it going to get cold? It's definitely going to get hot in the summer. So doing that, a tip would be I run the typical, I don't know what the R rating and the home insulation, 2x4 studs, no drywall on the inside. You don't want to do drywall. I do Panda film. And then I mark the studs with some red markers here and there. So I know, like, don't lean in here, like be careful when you're shimmying around because you don't want to lean into the Panda film on studs. And just insulate it really, really well. You'd be amazed at how well it will do. And then, what do
you got going here? Oh, that's wait, I'm showing sore subjects there. I realized it's an interesting color for that bud. And I go, oh, wait a second. Oops, I know what that is.
I'll get to that in a second for sure. But it's really nice. Grow tents are cool. They're super efficient.
What's up, GPC? In the grow, hanging out. We just watered everything in tonight. So what I'm going to be doing, I am dealing with a few. So let's show you what that looks like here.
Is it the yakking? I muted it. It should be muted now.
There we go. We're good. Having a room that you can get into is something that I really like. Grow tents obviously have their advantages, easy to set up, easy to invest in, but you can't really sit in them. So like when I pop off my 4x3 or my 2x4, because I do have both grow tents in my house, I love it. It's easy, but I can't get in there and hang out with the plants. And I really like that time when I can do it. So that's huge. And the picture Grambo showed, if you didn't see it, I was out of town and I had some thrips. I knew I had thrips. I took this challenge. And I told my son, hey, tomorrow, and this is bad timing on me. Most things are bad timing on you when somebody else is taking care of the garden, in the sense that I said, hey, Aiden, in the mail tomorrow, this is going to come, and it's going to be these beneficial micro insects that you can't see. And you need to open up the container, and you need to put that dust, because beneficial predators are in a carrier, some type of dust. They're in, like, it's this looked like a little bit of wood chips, and you need to put that on the fan leaves only. And what he heard was put it on the buds, and I freaked out. I was like, dude, these buds are all sticky. You just put sawdust on them. Holy shit. And in the end, because this grow was just trimmed up and finished about a week ago, it was very minimal. He went through and he actually rigged our air compressor with like a zip tie to give the most gentle stream of air out, and spent hours in there because he knew how upset I was. But those types of things, when you're given instructions before you're going to go out of town, no matter how you're explaining it, you need to do it with somebody first, to a degree. In the end, I wanted to be really pissed at him. And I'm like, you can't be pissed at him. He's just trying to help, even though you told him to not do that. But yeah.
I always have empathy for that. Like, I was so dumb when I first moved. Like, I took care of like my friend's brother's plants, and then when I moved to Colorado, it's like I've been listening to Dude Grow Show, I've been reading all the forums, like I'm a goddamn expert, right? And then the first day in the grow with my buddy, he gives me like, here, you take half these plants, I'll take half these plants, and we're gonna top them. Right. So, and I was like, oh, topping. I'm not really sure about topping. And then he's just like, you know what it is. And then he comes back, and I had cut not like the top, like the little top. I cut the top of the plants off. So like these like 2.5 foot plants, he walks back in the room, and there's a bunch of like 6-inch. I got like a half a dozen plants all, and I was like, I cut the tops off, and he's just like, oh my God, I thought you said you've been studying. So yeah, 2014, I was as dumb as old A Dog. I can't hate on the boy, but man, that's gotta hurt. So that's why I was trying to find a video of your grow, and then I accidentally found a video of your
all good, all good.
Your trauma. But yeah, you built a hell of a nice grow room, dude.
Sealed. Looking at the video here, so those are grassroot fabric pots. If you can see the little white along the edges of those pots are fabric pots, but lined on the top 70% of them to push the roots down, and then the bottom 4 inches are not lined. You can see that white lining there, to let the roots push out, and those do really well as far as one thing that I underestimated is this is a sealed grow room, right? I've always grown in sealed grow rooms. So you have to have off the bat AC, dehumidifier, and CO2. So that's usually the budget, not going to do this if you can't set up a grow tent in your living room or wherever in your house. But you have to have all those things in place and chugging along in harmony, if you will. So that works really well. I love the control of it. One tip I guess I would give is I do have on that room a 4-inch AC Infinity fan with a 4-inch hole that I drilled through on the upper part of the room. And the only thing that's there for is if the temp gets too hot, let's say my air conditioner quits, granted my pulse is going to notify me, I'm going to freak out. Hopefully, you want those things in place. Shout out to Pulse Grow. That I have a temp stat on that 4-inch fan, and it will start to pull air just out of the room. If it gets I know if the room gets above 90, or not even, like we'll say 87 to 88, it might barely get there, not in bloom. In veg, when I'm really chugging along with that hot veg VPD. But if it gets above that, try and have a fail safe. Another one fail safe that is a great thing to have that people don't run enough is a high temp shutdown on your lighting. It's super easy device. You can plug into any lighting controller, and you just set the temp. Hey, if this room ever reaches 88, something's wrong. Turn off the lights, but it will keep your photo period too, where it will try to have a delay. So if my light shut off once it reaches, let's say 87, within, I could say 15 minutes, I wanted to keep trying to fire and see if the problem has been alleviated, or hopefully keep my photo period as well.
Right. Now that's a huge one. The a high temp shutdown for your lights and a float valve for your reservoir are two of the.
Yes.
Oh man, I have I cannot tell you. It's one of those things when you flood your, because I'm also a sealed grow room guy, hardcore, seal it, like, tighter than a dolphin's asshole, you know what I'm saying? And fucking man, I put 2 feet of water in my grow room, 2 feet of water. I was very pleased that it was tight enough to hold that amount of water, but I told myself that was such a painful event that there's no way I'll ever let that happen ever again. It happened 4 times over my my grow room career. My ex is just now selling her house, and I fought every urge to be like, so did they find any water damage or anything? And so yeah, it's done. The paperwork's signed. It's sold. We're not going back. They didn't find the water damage. Oh, there was water damage. They'll find it eventually.
All right. You threw me off there, Grambo. I just Googled really quick. I wanted to see if there's any type of phrase or understanding of tighter than a dolphin's asshole, but not much. Like, we'll talk after the show.
Oh man, yeah. Don't get me started. Like, how I censor myself on Dude Grows. Like, I always tell people I'm professionally immature. I go hard. Last week I had JR on, and we were getting really high. And around the hour mark, it just turns into a free for all. I try to shoot for about 50 minutes to an hour for the show. After an hour, we're talking about getting handies from our wives and all sorts of shenanigans. I was like, man, this is yes. What you smoking on, dude?
Okay.
What you smoking on today? It better not be the orange gasm.
Oh, Jesus, I just did both. So shout out to J-Pen. Got a bag of Harlequin. Nice. Like I said, my wife's been digging on it. It has its place. It's a weed light. And then I just packed, you said it, some orange gasm. I'm getting out of it. I have Rockstar on the ready. That harvest I just did, that grow you're just showing, I averaged about 1 gram per watt, which I'm happy with. The bud is dank. It's really stanky. It's not going to be a day starter like orange gasm. It's going to be a little heavier. But measuring that, just as a tip, that 1 gram per watt, my HLG 350s, I only turn the knob up to 75% at the most. And the reason I did that is I was using my Pulse Pro meter. Yeah, that orange meter there hanging in the middle. And these lights are up a little bit more than they were. But when they're down enough, I didn't need to run them at the full 350 watts per fixture. The most I got was 75% up the dial. So instead of 350 watts, you do the math, 75% of 350 watts, and you do the gram per watt equation, and ended up about 1 gram per watt, which I was stoked with.
That's not bad. That's usually what I am shooting. Oh. Scotty was giving me crap because I go a little bit. I was like, yeah, I get about 1 gram per watt, and he's just like, that's too little. And I was like, man, it's not HPS.
Kevin in the chat doesn't like it. He said it's not good, 2 to 2.5. I say it depends on what you're turning out, Kevin. If I'm turning out frosty as hell, tri-covered bud that smells like dank, like, I'm happy with it. You might be right. It made me think, should I have raised those lights up and had them full blast? I'm just going off the PPFD that Closer was giving me, and possibly you can definitely do better than 1 gram per watt. Don't get me wrong. Strain dependent. All right.
See, Kevin checks back in. He says, yes, quality over mass. We're trying to be oil farmers over here. Am I right? Yeah, I love it. No, CP, you always get crap for the orange gasm. It's like when you find what you like. I got an ounce jar of this lemon G. I've been talking about this lemon
G. What is in
there? That's the live resin, baby.
So that's just straight for like using the little dab pen, the Luca.
I got my Dr. Dabber here. So it's an E-rig. So Dr. Dabber Boost. It's just like a normal rig, except for the element, the nail is electric. And so yeah, you can. It's got 12 different temperature settings. I want to get them to sponsor Dude Grows, or at least my stream. Someone's got it's my favorite product on the market. I have a Puffco, and I don't use it. In fact, it's unused. I hate Puffco, and so I was thinking about maybe giving this away at the DGC Cup. There's a good opportunity to tell everyone, if you guys want to come to the biggest cannabis festival. I don't know if it's proper. Like, there's bigger ones in, like, what is it, the Mary Jane Festival in England, or Germany, Cannabis over there. Those are pretty big. But as far as Colorado, and it is the biggest one for sure. And I think I'm going to give this away over there.
I shout out to Green Meds for Life. I'm with Dude. I'm oblivious to all the dab stuff. They do have a little bit of one up on flavor and just smelling shit. When you're just opening a jar of that, or as well as hitting it, it's got awesome flavor. So I can't deny that, but I still haven't
I'm
had
a flavor whore.
And thank you for showing off. DGCcup.com. If you guys aren't coming, you're missing out. All right. Keep in mind, the way we do this event is I don't want to say uppity, but like we're hanging. We are at over 100-acre farm this year. Beautiful view of the Front Range of Colorado. It's a little bit classy, and that's how I want it to be for a weed event. Break the stoner stereotype, and come on out. And for the whole day, you can hang out for 5 or 6 hours and just smoke all the weeds you want the whole time, and network, buy genetic seeds, clones, hang out with the food trucks. We are gonna, I think, have that one mushroom wrapper guy, Tanazi. Oh, what's his name? Fungi Flows. Tanazi is like, we did a little farm tour, and he's like, dude, will you go in with me 50-50? We got to get Fungi Flows out here. So, and we have glass blowers at every day this year for the VIP party for Saturday, as well as the Sunday hash bash. Every day there'll be glass blowing too.
And hopefully, I believe Raider Dank Vader is going to be there, right? He's here in chat.
Yeah, he'll be hanging out for sure.
Yeah. So yeah, it's going to be unique. There's always the flower cup is traditionally what it's always been, but Taking Tops and Tropicana Kyle stepped in, and we're doing the hash bash. I've said the first couple of nights, I am going to be on my best behavior. I'm going to smoke as little as I possibly can. No edibles, and I'm going to smoke as little as I possibly can. And then on Sunday, someone's going to need to call me a doctor. I'm going to lose my mind.
I see Tropicana Kyle in the chat here. Do you believe him? Do you believe him, Kyle? Is this how it's going to roll down?
You asked the wrong person. He literally checks in on me because I'll be like, dude, I'm going to do a tolerance break. And then Kyle will actually message me like, how's that tolerance break going? And I'm like, I'm pretty high right now, man, but I'm jogging. I've been getting back exercising. You actually, you gave me a little nudge while we were coming home from Missouri. You're like, Grambo, it's like you're going through hard times. Summer bod season's coming here, and it knocked me into shape. I've been doing my 4 miles a night. I've been doing my dumbbells. I'm feeling a little bit stronger.
I'll get on like my mantra for a minute. That's huge. If people that know the show, of course, I've been either luckily enough or seek something out in life where mountain biking is my passion, and it puts you in the woods and it makes you very happy, and exercises the shit out of you at the same time. But exercise it's paramount, man. Being able to, you have to get over that hump to say I don't want to, I can't do it. But I've never not done it and been like, holy shit, I feel so much better. I just feel better, like, for that fact. So, and it ties into also get high and exercise, like make it fun in whatever way you can.
I'm telling you, was it last night I had a little bit of edibles left over from Missouri. I have been doing good. I went like 2 weeks without edibles. I've been like, I haven't been not smoking, but I always quote Samuel L. Jackson and Jackie Brown. He's about to leave. It's like Robert De Niro is like smoking a bong at like 10 in the morning. He's like, y'all Cheech and Chong motherfuckers get high first thing in the morning. I get my work done, then I get high. And I was like, I want to do the Samuel L. Jackson. I want to get my work done. Because, I get to the bakery and it's like, there's the dab rig, Scotty's smoking a joint. It's so, I got my vape pen. And I got to talk with Dr. Riley Patrick. and she's a awesome cannabis personality, awesome stoner chick. And she really talked about like dialing into like, don't lose the ritual of smoking cannabis. Everyone's just kind of nonchalantly smoking on their vape pen, drinking their American beer mug. You got to show that to
is that what you're talking about?
Dude's keeping it real. So yeah,
it doesn't mean anything. It's not political. It's just political. Pride. All right.
Goddamn right. Midwest born, the Dude Grows show. So yeah, not so, but I so as much as I've still been dabbing, still doing a little bit of edibles, I haven't hit a vape pen like 3 weeks. I haven't. I have like 6 cartridges over here, all stacked up. I always stock up on cartridges, and it really hit me. Like going to Missouri, rolling joints with you guys, hanging out. Me and Banner will pass around dabs at the bakery. It's like, oh, what are you smoking on? We'll get nerdy about it, but it becomes more intentional, where it's like I'm not just ripped constantly. And dude, in Missouri, it was good. I bought $150 pipe. I barely smoke flower. Why would I buy a pipe? I was so high in Missouri. So I kind of looked at that like the Dude Grows Cup, like prelims. Like it made me like, all right, don't do it. Don't let Cortez dose you.
It makes me think about training. Like, is there a training for events where it's hard. I almost feel like I'm being rude. It's taking some training to be like, somebody's coming up, hey dude, like nice to meet you, whatever, here's hit the joint. Like, I don't want to say no, but I've gotten better at it. Be like, look, I'm sure you got some fire weed. I got to keep my head about me for like, check me in about an hour and a half. I'll be in a different zone, but you definitely want to enjoy yourself, and tolerance. God, Scotty's the one that every year still, you guys will see if you're coming like 3 hours, 4 hours in, I'm like, are you okay? Like you definitely like I do the show with you all the time, but your eyes look fucked, bro.
Yeah, in Missouri, he like lets out a big sigh. We're in Missouri at this Kindway Farms event. He lets out a big sigh. He's like, Grambo. I was like, what's that? He goes, DGC Cup. How am I gonna survive it?
Well, that was 3 days this time.
Yeah. It's gonna be insane. So yeah, definitely, I couldn't be more stoked. And shout out to all the Missouri fans. We were shocked, pleased, and overwhelmed with joy of how much DGC support we had out there. So yeah, it's going to be sick.
And we all stayed at an Airbnb with no internet.
Which, when we first walked in, it seemed like it was going to be a nightmare. We didn't have, they said there was a grill, but there was no charcoal or lighter fluid, so we couldn't grill up.
We have no internet or no grill.
Yeah, no grill, no nothing, but we're pan frying up chicken. Banner's over there pan frying chicken. Scotty's over there cooking up burgers. Dude made eggs and bacon in the morning. It turned out to be kind of exactly what I speak for me, exactly what I needed. I needed to get the hell away. Anyone that follows my post show, all you GramBorg members, I do a little post show after this show where I drop the veil completely. And I was like, oh, I'm sad. Life's hard and I'm fat and I hate it. I talk all the real stuff. So anyone that follows the post show knows I needed that trip. That trip was a real reset for me. And so I appreciate you setting it all up.
Does my other QC give me grow credit? It's a Grodan, which is the biggest makers of rock wool.
Yes. They have it in Vegas. They set up like a hut. They have like a big cube hut that's a Grodan cube. And I always like, they have one of the best booths that's in cool. MJ BizCon. Yeah, it's pretty sweet.
We should talk about that one day on Grow Talk. Like, people are like, oh, it's spun rock from the earth. Well, coconuts are shipped on diesel-powered freight containers from Sri Lanka. Peat's ripped from the earth in bogs. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes in my head, I go back to thinking that water maybe is the friendliest culture. I don't know, media, but
well, it for sure is. And as the science and technology is keeping up, I've smoked some pretty dank weed from hydroponics. Like, we got a buddy here in Denver, Dread Smokes Weed is his handle online. Anyone that follows Dread out there. And this dude grows, I think, Grodan cubes, maybe I don't know what, whatever it is. It's probably some off brand, but dude, he stacks them up. He'll have like the little cubes on top of the big cubes. He grows like baseball bat stems inside these little tiny things, doing the pulse feeding.
Yeah, I was about to say very cyclical, multiple irrigation times in a day, which doesn't help my hand watering fetish at all. Otherwise, I'd probably be more into that. Sicko
I'm
Grows.
a- I'm also
You're
a
talking
hand
about
water.
live stream from the party this year. That's people can walk around. I've talked with Grambo about this. But I think most people don't mind. I've ran into also at times walking around the party being like, it's live. This, like, some people are kind of turned off a little. I don't know if they got
Yeah,
warrants,
yeah.
but yeah, I kind of like it to be not a full, like, everybody has the idea at times, we should do a show from the cup. It's
Yeah,
not going to be great audio. It's more about, and I always want the cup to be about hanging out in person,
right.
here and now. This is what
It
we're doing.
doesn't it wouldn't do it justice. And like you said, like there's a buddy, I'll shout out to him as I've nicknamed him the Cannabis Cook. And the Cannabis Cook, he'll go through and watch my stream, and then he'll send me time codes of like potential clips. You can make a clip out of this, you can make a clip out of this, and he actually like takes the effort and puts it in. And I'm like, dude, I'm so thankful you like, can I shout you out? And he's like, dude, I work in a specialty field that involves science stuff that I won't even mention because it gets too close over there. And
Yeah.
he's just like, no, please don't shout me out. So I was like, I'll call you the Cannabis Cook because he's always cooking
We
up
need to,
all
like,
sorts of goodies over there.
the ultimate dude. Like, you know what? We've had some DGC breaking the stoner stereotype when we ask what they do in the real world, what they do for a job. I'm still waiting for, like, you can't take a picture. You can't. I'm actually with the DEA, but I like what you guys are doing. Just burning down, hanging out.
There's DEA DGC. Say that 6 times fast. There is for sure. It's hilarious. So speaking of being a hand watering, what do you call it? Hand water slut. I'm just projecting on you
You
now.
said slut. I said fetish.
Fetish. All right. So one of my tips that I always gave to people is my secret weapon when I was building out all my grow rooms was sump pumps. Get water in, stir it up, and get it out, all with just sump pumps. And so I would take a sump pump, I'd put it in my reservoir, and I'd get a garden wand. I'd hook a garden hose up to a wand, and then that'd be like my little nutrient recirculator inside the res. And then I'd go plant to plant with my little garden wand. It
Yeah.
was a beautiful setup. How do you water? Do you physically hand water? Are you in there with a watering can? What do you do? You got a healthy
So
amount of plants in your grow.
I usually get it dialed in. Granted, early veg is going to be different than once you get into mid veg, and the plants, the root zone set, you're going to be able to understand what each plant needs, and it's fairly consistent. So, for example, again, early veg, you're not watering for container size, you're watering for the plant. Once the plant gets bigger, and we're in mid veg, we're in aggressive veg, the plant is growing. I have a 2-gallon watering can and 12 plants and 5 gals. And I would know that typically that 2-gallon watering can filled completely up would get me 3 times, would get me through the whole row. And what I meticulously do is I use this plastic watering cup with different lines on it. And the reason I do that is because if I have to get out of town, come down, visit you boys, hang out in the bakery, I can tell my kid each plant needs 3 cups. You move them aside, you roll down the center, not at once. You go down the center and you give each plant its cup. Boom, go back, reset, because you don't want to soak it too much. Then each plant gets another cup. Boom, go back and reset. You're giving the plant its 3rd cup. I know it sounds like if Scotty was on here, it sounds like fucking work, dude. It sounds like shit. Like, I don't know, but I'd rather run the real buckets, right? That's what he's going to go to. But I can't. I don't know the plumbing.
Scotty hates work. That's the thing about Scotty.
And knowing when you go to 12-12, you'll find potentially, for me, your watering needs will probably change a little bit again. The first month of it, like, they go like crazy. Then they really dive down. The second month, I was dealing with 25% less watering needs. But again, I would always use these same cups just in case. I could tell my wife or just anybody I want to know simply, like, each plant gets this. I want to know how much water they're getting, and not by weight. I don't weigh them. You could tell by lifting up, of course, but by volume. This plant gets 3 cups 2 times a day. Like, just knowing that regimen is really valuable, especially relying on other people to take care of your grow.
Yes, that was something that's in my days. Like I was a grow room grower my entire growing existence, and then once the bottom fell out of the market, once things dropped below 1100, I was just like, all right, it's time to start thinking about something else to do with my time. And I never could find anyone. First of all, I didn't trust anyone to like come in and work with my plants. But yeah, my wife, my girlfriend, she couldn't figure it out. Because yeah, the wand, I had no way of measuring it. I did everything by feel. What's it look like? How you get the little bit of funneling on the top. The cocoa will kind of pool at the top when you're filling it up, and then it'll kind of drain down. They call that the funneling. And it was always one of those things that I had to do all by myself. So the fact that you trust people,
Yeah.
and I kept showing this picture. I wouldn't doubt anything when I see this picture. I go, that man has a watering can for goddamn sure.
Don't get me wrong. I'd love to set it up. I've gone back and forth all in my head about irrigation, and maybe I will, but I have to move my plants. I love being in there and hanging out and moving them around.
Yes, that's huge. I was indoctrinated. I love your setup. If I were to build another grow room, I for sure would do the plant dollies. I always would do the like tables. I get like hydroform, like 3x3 or 4x4, like little tables, and then I'd build them up with like 2x4s on the thing so I could put scrog netting over the top of it. And but then I couldn't get to the back of it. And I always called it was like a plant mullet. Like my plants in the front were like really well trimmed, and then as you got back to the back, they were very long, and I had a goddamn plant mullet going on in my grow room. It was business in the front, all trimmed up in the front, and just growing wild in the back.
I like it. I like it. Yeah, man. I mean, growing's fun. We're gonna do a show, I believe, this upcoming Saturday about Banner had an idea about what keeps you growing, and it's like and I feel this when weed is, maybe growers, you're hooked up. Shout out to everybody in Canada, Kuzmas, JPen, God, I'm missing people, but who just send me weed. And I don't ever want to go buy weed from the dispo, don't get me wrong, but when you have a network of people, we're going to do a show about like what keeps you growing. I know for people like Casa del Waco, JD Grows, you guys are growing medicinally. You're dealing with ADHD and your kids. I don't know about both of them full on, but growing very low THC. We're going to talk about this in the show too. So we're giving a show tease, very low THC strains, when sometimes people will veer away from weed and be like, well, I just don't want to get high. Well, you don't have to. Like you can find, don't get me wrong, THC, I believe, plays an important role in medicinal cannabis, but you can get it at very low ratios.
And sometimes you'd be surprised. That's the thing about some of those 1-to-1s and the lower THC stuff is sometimes I get baked off of it. And then it just goes, I've never been a THC. In fact, if I did go to a dispensary, one of my tricks of the trade is if you go to a dispensary and you have flavor whore like myself, it's buy the lowest THC thing they sell. Because if it's the low, it's got to be there for a reason. So if it doesn't have that little number by it, it's got to be a hard hitter. So in fact, not only am I not a THC guy, I buy the lowest thing on there. That's packed with the terps. We've all been knowing the entourage effect for years, yet somehow it's kind of gotten forgotten in the modern era of like, bro, high is really modulated by cannabinoids, terpenes, thiols, esters.
I got a bag. Oh, who was it? We had a sponsor for a minute on the East Coast. I don't think they're in business anymore, but they were very proper. They sent us bags of CBD weed with the paperwork in it, being like, this is like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And it was, you'd get it and I'd look at it, like, this looks exactly like Kind Bud. Like, this looks like every bit the same. So I rolled up the first time I ever tried a straight CBD joint. It was from, forgive me, I'll try to remember, but I rolled up their weed, and then I was driving to Fort Collins. I used to drive to Fort Collins to the bakery once a week to record one show there, and then I did one down in Littleton. But I was like, okay, I got a completely legal joint here. Let's go for a drive, And driving up I-25, you want to be medicated, and it just made me feel that I was sitting. It like my chair was more comfortable. I probably had a little more patience. I felt not high at all, but really just relaxed. It was interesting. It's the first CBD joint I've ever smoked like that. And I haven't smoked much CBD since because I like the THC too. But it is interesting. It's very calming.
Yeah, why can't I remember their name either? They it's not Preferred, it's not Steep Hill. What is it? It's like somewhere on right on the tip of my tongue. I can't find it either. But yeah, I remember we'd get big old bags of legal CBD bud, and it's just like, well, that looks like bud. I'm glad this shit didn't exist back in the black market days, because we would have been buying some nickel bud night. I remember the first time I ever got ripped off in weed. They sold me a bag of weed that had water sprayed on it. It was literally just like misted with water, and it was wet. And they're like, dude, it's hydro. This is what hydro looks like. And 14-year-old me was like, whoa, bro. And I had like a little stash box I'd put my weed in, and the next day it was just hay. It was just grass clippings. It was ditch weed.
Yeah, I think there's a place for all types of strains, and that's part of the thing I'm gonna talk about on the show that keeps me growing. Like, thinking about what I haven't done. I haven't really leaned into breeding. I don't know if I ever will. It sounds like fun. It's not that hard. I mean, I would want to say it's hard to find a true keeper and winner in the end, but it's not that hard to play with as a hobby.
Well, me and Dude are both in the vasectomy club, so our days of breeding are over. You know what I'm saying?
And yes, it does. It has no negative consequences for anybody out there that's on the fence. You're all good. No, you're good.
Lots of positive consequences. I'll tell you that. I remember one time I told a girl, I was like, I actually have a vasectomy, and she goes, yes.
Oh, it's hilarious. Love it.
You were the reason that I decided to do it. You coached me into, like, because the thing is like, it's like, is everything normal? Like they clip you. And Colorado is such a ridiculous place. Like, the guy's casually, he's working on me. He's down there doing his thing, and he's like, what do you do for a living? I was like, oh, I'm like, I do this like cannabis media for some like I say I work for nutrient companies, like real growers and whatnot. Like, he's like, oh, drafted amendment 64 here. I was on the board of physicians that left comment, yada yada, and I was like, no shit.
Nice. My dude put in some country music on a CD. It was weird. The nurse came in before him, and she put in this country music CD, and country music started playing. I'm like, what's up with this? And she's like, he likes to work to it. I'm like, he can work to whatever the hell he wants to work to. I don't give a shit. Like, so yeah, so whatever makes the man happy.
That is scary. That is scary. Yes. The nurse, I got all sorts of stories about my nurse. She was a little too enthusiastic to shave me down. It was a bit of an ego boost, because I was like, oh, you probably see a lot of bad hangers in here.
Is it, are we going in the
We're rolling up on an hour, dude. Once we get near an hour, it gets loose.
Jesus, because I was going to tell you, you're supposed to go in pre-shaved. All right. Okay. Well, let's clean it up. I don't know. Clean it up.
I pre-trimmed. They didn't really tell me. They didn't tell me much,
Oh,
I dated the wrong girl, and then like
hey, simple man's out. We're a simple man's like, I'm out. Come back. We'll change it up. Change it up for real.
Now they could leave. You know what this is? This is the late night smoke, baby. I've said way worse stuff on here than that.
Oh yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's only enough time in the day, right? So there's so much good content going on. But you've done really well with Grambo Grows. It's been awesome. Yeah, to see that. At first, maybe with my not business like mind, I would be like not insulted, be like, what, are producers doing their own show? What if it gets more popular than our show? We have to have a talk.
Yeah. That would be horrible.
No, it'd be fabulous, Grambo. That'd be fabulous. All is well for sure, man. I love the way that Scotty has called this the free, like, not necessarily full free, but YouTube has given us as much as we like to bitch about shit. This opportunity.
Yes. And for me, I'm a stand-up comedian. Like, the whole reason I started editing was because my friends, I wanted to like enter short film competitions like over COVID. So people are always surprised. I didn't edit before 2020. I got my first computer in 2019. Like, I never really owned a computer. And then when stand-up got taken away through the lockdown, I had nothing to do. So there's this film competition called the Phone It In Film Festival. And my buddy edited my video to like submit to it had to be shot on a phone, and then you could do whatever you want in it. And he just couldn't capture my vision. So I was like, let me learn editing. Let me try some editing. And I submitted to it, and I won honorable mention for best VFX in it. And then I won the third one. I won the fourth one. I was getting messages from like the lady that won the Boston Comedy Festival. All these people were like, bro, your video's sick. It's awesome. It's over on just, I have lots of YouTube channels, but just Josh Grambo. If you type Josh Grambo into YouTube, it should come up. It's called something. You'll see a hot chick on the cover. And it was one of those things. And I literally didn't know. I was like, oh, maybe I'm kind of good at this. And I started working for a plant or a sleep education company. I worked for a breast cancer like company for doing 3D animations and editing. And I hated it. And went on the road doing comedy. I got off the road and I had a blast 5-week road trip doing comedy, 30 minutes all across the country. It was an amazing experience. I came home negative $300. And I told my buddy, I was out, PJ Johnson. If you guys saw him over on Cortez's show, PJ Johnson took me out. This awesome. I met him at the Church of Cannabis, total pothead, cannabis elite. He's an amazing guy. He trusted me, took me out on the road. And I told him in this very thoughtful, when you're in a car with a guy for a month, you start revealing stuff, you know. We became tight. And I was just like 100%. Having a religious experience. I was like, bro, when I get back to Denver, I need to find like a real job that like takes my skills, all the different skills that I have. I need to figure it out. I got home on Monday, and that Friday, Guru had left. I came up to the bakery just to hang with Scott, and it just like literally the universe parted. I don't believe in a God proper, but I believe in the universe and something bigger than myself. And so it became like I'm 100%. I always had a problem with the word we. Like if Pepsi paid me, we here at Pepsi believe in no. Pepsi says some shit, and I'm here to say it. When I hooked up with Dude Grows, I was like, I can be we. Like, and it's been nothing prouder. The Grambo Grows thing was literally just, I'm a whore for attention. I wanted to get my face in front of there. And I also kind of wanted to prove to Scott and High C in a way that like some of my weird ideas aren't so far out. Like they can kind of work. And to their credit, High C, I love that guy. He's been so open to including me in all the creative decisions. So no matter what happens in this world, dude, just know I am so loyal to you and Scott for giving me a chance. Like I said, I asked God for this fucking job, and you guys gave it to me. So no, this has been a glorious situation working with you guys, and I'm so stoked for the future.
Everybody listening to, just build the community. Everything has come from the community. Like everybody we've worked with Dude Grows has been through the community and friends, and this plant, cannabis itself, you know, brings like-minded people together. Get to hang out, and usually if somebody else you run into out there is like toking on a J or puffing a bowl, you usually know you have like just a certain understanding together. You're probably going to be able to have a good conversation, probably not going to get in an argument. You know, it's good times. So I could, can I present Grambo? I found an OG video here.
Yeah. I don't know how you do it, but let's figure it out.
I think I can right now. Let's see.
Okay.
Oh, here we go.
What do we got here? I'm nervous. All right.
Am I sharing? All right.
Okay. What do we got here?
Is a bull ride happening?
Yes. What is happening here?
I don't know if I can hear my mic. Oh, dude, this is me. This is the only time I've ever ridden a mechanical bull. Okay. And I did good. And basically the operator eventually decides I'm doing good enough. He has to kick me off with a spin. Like right now, I'm pro. Look at this. I'm pro. And then he's going to do this shit right here. Time to get rid of this guy.
Oh my God, you held on, man. Bro, watching that video, it makes sense why you've been happily married for so long. Dude's a
simmer down.
Roping Broncos.
That's one of the only videos that I ever have with my birth name. Like, search this and you'll find one video on me when you're saying search Grambo Grows. So good times though. all about the
That is
mechanical bowls.
amazing.
If you have an opportunity, it's good times.
That's amazing. Definitely, that's the sort of thing that you can find. I didn't add it there. The realdgc.com for real. Guys, go over there, support us. If you wanted, like, Scott is the only one that's tough to get a hold of over there. You can actually DM. You can DM the dude. You can DM me. You can DM Banner. We'll actually respond.
I'm in there
I get quite a
every
bit.
day for you guys. Yeah, 100%. You know, if you don't know the mantra of the show, like, it's free to go over to Real DGC and join. If you become a producer, that's much appreciated. But it's the community in itself and the news feed with how active it is so cool to see. And nobody's getting canceled. All right. Come with your dank
No.
nugs, your weed picks, come with your grow talk, create your profile. There's different groups and places to hang out.
And
There
you'll
is an
end up
app in
on
the
the
App
show.
Store. Yeah,
We,
yeah.
we
We use
pull
it
right from the site for the show, comments, dank
Yeah.
nug picks, grow tips. A guy commented about what PPFD was on there and kind of blew me and Scott's mind. You know, me and Scott are trying to nerd out over there with trying to catch up to where Jaron and those sort of guys have been for years, and just trying to figure out all the, like, what does PPFD stand for? Well, photosynthetic photon flux density, of course.
Is this the time of the show? It's like the after hours. Like, do I start just housewives of whatever, and then let's start. I'm gonna talk shit on Scotty. What do we got? He's not
You always
here.
got to be careful. Scott's lurking. Scott's always in the chat. He said he was going to come bust balls in the chat, but I haven't seen him. So if you're lurking, come hang out, Scott. What are you doing?
No, he is asleep. He is hanging out. He's in Costa Rica. He
He's
said
in
he
Costa
went down there when he got there. He meant to, hang out at the local restaurant, which are some of the locals would be like, all right, let's have some beers. He's like, dude, I had 3 pints, and I interrupted him. And I said, that equaled NyQuil. He's like, yes. He's like, I immediately went to sleep for a long time. Not
That's
usually his
hilarious.
speed. But yeah, we have a Know Your Breeder coming out this Wednesday for y'all if you're
Yes.
interested in that. And then we'll have a regular show kicking Saturday, of course, but that is the plan.
Yeah, we got Mr. D on. He's an amazing breeder. I always love hanging out with Banner doing the Know Your Breeders. He's the flavor guy. I'm a flavor guy, so it's always cool to get to talk to the guys that actually do it. And I'll be editing that as soon as this finishes up. Me and Banner recorded it a few days ago. I'm gonna get all the stuff put together over there, so it's gonna be pretty freaking awesome. So yeah, we did it, dude. We crossed an hour. I think we gave some good tips, some good information. I avoided the pigeons conversation. I wanted to be like, so who is dude?
Yeah, it is interesting. I asked him, I think I said, was it like Actor Studio? Was that the show? Like the guy that would do
Yeah.
like the one-liner questions?
Yes.
Like do a very, give me one, like a very pointed, direct, like, okay, tell me about your childhood.
But I recommend it because it is pretty cool. People spend a lot of time with us. The people have known you for over a decade now. Dude Grows is coming up into its 11th year doing this, and so you get to know everyone kind of like personally, but it's pretty cool to get to know them personally. So I do recommend it. Go over to Pigeons 420, click on the live tab. It'll be the most recent Tea with P. The kids call it the tea. Are you familiar with this, dude? Where you're dishing gossip, they call gossip tea. They want the tea.
Not
Give me the
familiar at
tea.
all.
Yeah, it's
No.
dating millennials has taught me a thing or two in this world. And yeah, so the tea
I
with P.
realized a lot of, like, I mountain biked with a cat today that was 32. I'm 47, and he started talking about Bitcoin, and it's like, you know what? There's just a difference in us. It's all good. I'm not anti, but you start to get a little lost in that shit. But you said who is dude? I'll do my quick mantra. Some things I live by: do what you will while you're able. That's a lyric from Xavier Rudd, but it's really you never know. Do what you will while you're able. Smoke weed and get outside if you can while you're doing it. After you do it, enjoy the outdoors. Get out of, like, I'm sitting. Usually when you're inside, you're in 90-degree angles. And I think it's really important for the brain to be outside of those 90-degree angles and be in the woods if you can, or just get outside and live your life. Have a good time. I was going to say have a good weekend, but it's almost over. But I'm still going to have a good rest of my weekend with some smoked chicken wings and a little thin crust Dominoes.
My man, I love you beat yourself up about some thin crust Dominoes. You're like, it's my little cheat. Yeah.
Hey, I eat pizza. I don't know if Raider's still out there. He does pretty good. I like to eat pizza for what's on it, not the bread. Like, sure, that's the carrier, but I'm more about the toppings. So that's why I like the thin crust.
Yeah, one of the skinniest I've ever been in my life. I worked at Pizza Hut, and I would just eat the toppings off of the pizza that were like fails, and I dropped a lot of weight. I was accidentally ketoing.
Nice. I dig.
Well, cool. Hell yeah,
I'm about Grambo. Thanks for having me.
I appreciate you endlessly, my friend. This was awesome. This was the big moment for me because it was one of those things that I always call Dude Grows the mothership, right? You guys are the mothership, and there's all these little offshoots. You got Scotty Real 420, you got Grambo Grows, you got Cannabis. We're all doing different things, but we become Voltron and all meet up for Dude Grows show. And I once again can't thank you enough for bringing me into the family. I am epically grateful for everything you and Scott have done for me, and we're going to conquer the future, my friend. I'm super stoked.
You give a ton of value, my friend. Everybody in the chat, stay higher. Peace out. I am gonna go wrap up Sunday with some, I don't know, maybe YouTube plane crashes. I don't know. I've almost watched them all. I figure if I go too deep though, Grambo, I'm gonna jinx myself. I've literally taken off and like, you watch so many YouTube plane crashes, you're bringing this upon yourself. Something fun. We'll see.
Yikes. All right, dude. Thank you so much, brother. I will see you for the Saturday show.
Yes, sir. Later, everybody.
All right. Later, buddy. That was it, you guys. That was an amazing freaking show. Thank you so much to everyone that is out there. Once again, I didn't spot there. LJ Jones dropping another 5 gift subs down there. It was such a generous thing. So thank you, LJ Jones. Thank you, Cody Whitaker. Welcome back, Cannabis Vibe. Dab Marino, you're here, buddy. A big thing. I got reached out to. I've been saying for a long time that I want to do something to hook up all of the GramBorg members, all you guys that come in. LJ Jones and Cody Whitaker are dropping all those gift subs on everybody. And it's one of those things, like anyone that puts their own money in, you sign up and you join. I really appreciate it. So anyone that's been a member for 2 to 3 months or longer, some of you guys have been in there for like 7-8 months. We're going to be talking about it once they arrive. I got hooked up with a breeder. I'm once they arrive, I'm gonna start plugging it out there, make sure they don't get lost in the mail, and I make promises my butt can't cash. So I'm gonna start dropping seeds on all you members. It's gonna be a very awesome thing. So stay tuned next week. They are in the mail, and once they get here, LJ Jones, you get access. If you need seeds, LJ Jones, you need seeds. I'm going to put my email out for the members. I'm going to put my email in there, and everybody email me you got to be a member for longer than 2 months. So all you guys that just got hooked up by LJ Jones and Cody Whitaker, you don't qualify yet, but next month when it comes time, if you rejoin, you do qualify, and I'm going to be hooking up everybody with seeds. So LJ Jones, you don't just get the seeds from there. I'm going to open up. I got a special box that is full of seeds. It's what me and Jaron call like the doomsday box. If the apocalypse comes and doomsday comes, we're going to have all that. So I imagine I'll be seeing you at the Cup, my friend, which is in like 36 days or something. So dgccup.com. If you're at the Cup, I will hook you up personally, LJ Jones. Otherwise, I will make sure I get them to you. But channel members, GramBorg, I've been saying for a while, I want to get you guys some seeds, and that day has come. So tune in next week. And yeah, thank you guys. What do I always say? Smoke that like button, subscribe if you vibe, and you see that share button, roll this video up and pass it to a friend. Sharing is caring. Thank you guys for everything. Big news coming as we go forward. And yeah, I'm so stoked. I'll see you guys for Know Your Breeder on Wednesday. It'll be awesome. So thank you guys. And you know how we always end this with Cannabis Vibe Studios theme song. Nothing but good vibes up in here.
We're dropping knowledge on Grambo Bros, talking about